What's up, everybody? Welcome to RBL Weekly. Wild off-air conversations going on, but now we're professional. We're on air. It's week 33 of the RBL season. I'm the Roast Battle League Commissioner, Pat Barker, joined as always by my fellow professional, the host and creator of the Roast Battle, Brian Moses. And Moses, the season is winding down. A lot can happen today. New York can clinch the American East. Scotland can clinch the International West. Tokyo and Manchester continue to duke it out. People can make their final pushes for MVP. It's an exciting time of the year.
I feel like it's hard to be professional when I'm dressed like this.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. This is kind of your thing. I feel like this is a good cop, bad cop thing. I own 4 T-shirts that I wear in rotation. Yeah. And you give us something new and exciting every time.
Yeah, I feel like I look like I came from like a Diddy party.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I
escaped it and this is all they had.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
just grab whatever you can out the door. Yeah.
Yeah. I was covered in baby oil. I was like, oh no, the cops are here. This is the feds. I just grabbed whatever, and they had this.
Now, why do you? Because I saw you wear the hoodie that matches these pants. You got some sort of sweatsuit, I'm assuming, and instead of wearing it together as God intended, you split it up into different outfits.
Because we have a loyal fan base who loves to just come at me because I look like a groundskeeper.
Yes.
So yeah. So these Nigerian guys next to Bloodsoes and La Brea, that really good.
The barbecue.
Yeah, oh my God.
The only good barbecue in LA.
It's so good. So there's 2 spots, one in South Central and the one in I'm sorry, not even South, Compton, and there's one here. Anyway, so I'm in that one, and there's this boutique shop next door, and it's these Nigerian guys. And then they were like talking about Kanye's wife and how she was like naked, and they gave her like 4. They came and bought like 4 jackets, and then my dad was like, I'll come support a black business. And they're like, all right, here, take 4 of these. And they're like, $1 million. And I was just like, whoa, guys, chill on the being Nigerian thing. We came in to get one, support some black business, kind of a thing. So then they threw this thing in. So I got this free set, but never gonna wear this thing together. I'm gonna make you guys think about what it looks like.
I love that there's like Nigerian boutique shops in LA, and meanwhile everybody in Nigeria is wearing Buffalo Bills Super Bowl champion shirts.
30 years ago, Jesus.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a more contemporary reference that
trying to think.
That works. Who's the most most prolific loser recently? Niners. That's a good one.
Eagles.
That's a good one. Yeah. All right, let's chill. All right, yeah, your outfit is explained. We haven't even gotten to the safari hat, but we don't have enough time in the day to get to everything. So what do you say we watch some battles? Now, we start this week's countdown at number 7. And by the way, before we get into this, thank you to the ranking committee for all the work they've done this season. And thank you to Chrissy Healy, member of the Patreon community, who was the guest ranking committee member this week. Also picked up her 3rd consecutive win in the Zoom battles on the Patreon. If you want to get in on the Patreon, rank some battles, do your own battles. We had a great Zoom session a couple of weeks ago. A lot of fun. Chrissy's one of my favorite people. She lives down in Austin. She's come to a couple Mothership shows, and she helped us rank this week. So thank you. And we're going to get into the battles right now with number 7. This comes to us from New York. Now, New York had an opportunity to clinch the division this week, but they need a few more points than number 1. So this isn't going to quite get the job done, but they jump on the board, as they do most weeks, with the number 7 battle between 2 rookies out there. It's Dayton Bissett against Dorian DeBose. Here it is.
Okay, I'm going first. Okay. Dorian is just, he's Peter Griffin in blackface. If you've heard that joke in his act, I wrote it.
Context, he said it to me at a Waffle House, and it was really hurtful. And Dayton started dating his girlfriend when he was 22 and she had just turned 17. He said that she lied about her age. She said she was 14. She said her dog ate her birth certificate.
She was 13. You might be asking yourself, why does Dorian sound like that? Dorian sounds like that because he always has peanut butter on the roof of his mouth.
You know why I love you, Dayton? Because you're a very simple man. You love Bob Dylan, John Lennon, Jimmy Buffett, because he yearns for a simpler time when the age of consent was 9.
I call Dorian the N-word a lot, but with a B. Bigger, please. Okay, I'm sorry.
Nick Bob? Dayton is also a very generous man. I mean, he actually once bought a girl who had just gotten her first period a tampon as an anniversary gift.
Before the show, I saw Dorian drinking out of the wrong water fountain. It said skinny above it.
I am proud to be Dayton's only black friend. And he's proud to be my only pedophile friend. I used to think Dayton was afraid of black people. That's not true. He's afraid of Chris Hansen.
All right, Dorian likes them thick. Dorian does not
You like them young.
Dorian does not like flat women, which is why he can only have sex with someone once. 'Cause
I do appreciate you missing your girlfriend's parent-teacher conferences for this. I mean, a lot of people think Dayton is gay because he's effeminate and he's low T and he's a little sissy boy. Dayton is actually severely underweight, which is what he calls it when we have sex.
So that was the number 7 battle this week, coming to us from New York. Dayton Bissett versus Dorian DeBose. As always, we don't watch 7, 6, and 5 here in the studio, so we don't have a lot to say about it. Moving on. The number 6 battle comes to us from Atlanta, and we have a little bit of a familiar face in this one. The only familiar face from Atlanta, Shelly Gruenberg. It's been an interesting season for Atlanta as they try to assimilate to the league and figure it out. Behind closed doors, I would say they've been figuring it out more and more. There haven't been a lot of results here on the show, but a lot of their battles ending up in that 8 or 9 ranking position versus the beginning of the year when they were consistently 13, 14. I expect bigger things out of them next year, but certainly Shelly has been the one shining light coming out of Atlanta. Undefeated this year. I believe all of their battles to make the countdown have featured in some way Shelly Gruenberg. And this is no different. It's the number 6 battle this week. Shelly Gruenberg from Atlanta versus Jacob Chalk. Here it is.
All right, Shelly Gruenberg, Jacob Chalk, let's roast!
All right. I had the thought of that in order to defeat your enemy, I think you need to become your enemy. All right.
What?
I'm a big dumb bitch now, baby. All right. This is very difficult. I will be adjusting this as we go. Okay. All right. This was worth it. This was a lot of money. Okay. All right. I am Shelly Gruenberg. Hello. I'm Shelly Gruenberg. I know I sound like a Valley girl, but I look like I'm from Hidden Valley Ranch. All right. Your turn.
Oh my god, I thought those breakaway pants were in case he ran across a sleepy high schooler. I had no idea. No, I really love your comedian who gets booked here on the weekends costume. That's incredible. Jacob, if you're here, who am I hallucinating when I'm on Benadryl?
All right. Thank you, Reese withered too soon. All right. Shelly lost 70 pounds at Sky Zone. That sounds impressive, but when you realize she's a horrible nanny, okay? All right, give it up for the big dumb bitch. Thank you. All right.
I don't think anyone will be giving it up for you tonight, Jacob.
I am you as well.
Oh, then I guess you're like a genius with awesome tits. I don't know what to tell you. Jacob once told me unprompted that he had sex in a public park. Guess that's one way to kill a pigeon. You've heard of killing two birds with one stone. He killed one bird with his chode.
I mean, the pigeon is the sexiest bird. All right, okay. All right, they call Shelly's pussy Myrtle Beach because it's full of old guys and carnies. And crabs. I don't vape, but she does. Thank you. All right, okay.
Oh my God, Jacob. You know, they call Myrtle Beach Dirty Myrtle, and they call Jacob Chalk Wet Rapist? Weird. Jacob once asked me point blank if I thought he talked too much about being autistic on stage. And so I am speaking his language with a graph. See, this bar, the blue bar, represents amount of times Wonder Bread has posted on Instagram about selling bread. This green bar is the amount of times that Save the Children has posted the phrase Save the Children in the last 3 months. This red bar is Instagram reels Jacob Chalk has made about having autism.
That is
17.
true. Yes.
Jacob, we get it, you're hard to talk to.
Yes, okay. I'm trying very hard to be likable. It's difficult. Okay, that was
That's why
earnest.
it's stressed as me.
That was earnest. Okay. Okay. Shelly taught her ex-boyfriend how to read, and then he finally left when he could read the signs that she's fucking crazy. Like how she stalked my Instagram and counted the amount of times I posted about autism. Thank you. Also proving you are also autistic and know how to count. Anyway.
See, October 10th is actually Mental Health Awareness Day. And I think we're all aware of your mental health right now, Jacob. Jacob.
You're crushing it right now.
No, you're good. Deep breaths, buddy. Jacob has that chicken pot pie dick, you know? Because it's crusty with very little meat and primarily enjoyed by the elderly.
And it does put you to sleep. All right, okay.
All right, last joke.
All right, glad to be here roasting Chapel Down syndrome. Okay. All right, you guys didn't like that? Eat my dick and balls. Okay. Okay. I don't know why you guys are chiming in now too. You guys, you're not my therapist. You don't need to help. I'm okay. All right. Shelly taught herself to run on all fours in a parking lot, and yet we're here making fun of my autism. Interesting.
Oh, Jacob. Jacob, you look like the drawings children do before their parents realize they're demonically possessed. Jacob told me his dream was to travel to East Asia. Asia, where the hookers are children and his penis is regular. And to close, Jacob, I like your Shelly Gruenberg costume. I've prepared a Jacob Chalk costume.
Oh.
So that was the number 6 battle this week. Shelly Gruenberg, Jacob Chalk. Shelly Gruenberg moves to 8-0. Only 8-0 battler in the league. Best undefeated record. She's been on the RBL Weekly 4 times. MVP of the All-Star Game. Where do you, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but that kind of resume, does that get a lot of consideration for you for Rookie of the Year?
I was going to say, it's probably your Rookie of the Year. You know, with Stonick kind of, Jeff Stonick kind of petering out a little bit. not battling as much. I know he was on the countdown last week.
So in fairness, Stanek won again this week. He is at 8-2. Shelly and Stanek are tied for the league lead in wins.
Okay.
But Stanek had that amazing run in the first half with all these like number 1, number 2, number 3 battles. He hasn't been on the countdown as much recently.
Right.
So, they have similar kind of resumes. You also have Meccan Roth, of course, out of Manchester.
Right.
Kyle Samuel out of Scotland. There's a lot of good people. And although he doesn't want to be classified as such, Tom Goss.
Okay.
With what he's done in LA.
Are you throwing Tom in there as Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I mean, Tom, listen, Tom might campaign to not get votes. I've never seen anyone do this before, but he's like, I'm not a rookie. I battled 8 years ago, and technically that's true.
Right, it's almost like a Blake Griffin, was it Ben Simmons thing, right?
Yeah, or Ichiro. He came over and won Rookie of the Year after he had 1,500 hits in Japan already, Tom is a rookie in this league, but I think in his mind, he's not a rookie battler and shouldn't deserve it.
No, you don't. Wow. Yeah, I like Shelly as your Rookie of the Year, especially she's finishing out strong now with only a few weeks left in the season. I think it's a what have you done for me lately thing, especially if you're that close to it. You named 4 people that are great, excluding Tom, which is your 5th. But that Meccan, Kyle, Stanek, Shelly Gruenberg battle, that 4-headed monster right there, I think it really goes down to the ladies because I haven't really seen Kyle or Stanek, with the exception of last week, really kind of make any noise. And I like that Shelly, again, is like she's here now, and we're talking about her. So, yeah, I think it comes down to maybe those 2, Meccan and Shelly.
Got it. Okay. Well, I like that insight, that analysis. Let's keep it moving right now with the number 5 battle from Scotland. This is Kyle Samuel versus Daniel Petrie. Here it is.
Legs roast! I fucking actually hate myself.
Daniel looks like he's in a losing battle against carbon monoxide poisoning. And this man right here is literally running on fumes. Daniel's here tonight, which is nice. But what that means is that somewhere in the country, there's an Urban Outfitters missing a mannequin.
Kyle's hairline is so far back, it's making me nostalgic. I've never seen someone who looks so much like they vape.
When Daniel flies, he gets charged extra for the bags under his eyes. Daniel looks like the kind of guy that if a woman asked him to give him a blowjob, he'd respond saying, that would be tickety-boo. Do you know what I mean? Daniel looks like he refers to cow's milk as the hard stuff.
Kyle did an online celebrity lookalike test and it came back with Bruce Lee. Kyle isn't Asian, obviously, but if he was, his name might be Reese Ding. Because of his hair.
Speaking of losing hair, Daniel's sister had cancer. Daniel's actually a lot like his sister's tumour, because they're both unwanted, won't stop growing, and the family wanted to cut them out. I don't know if you can tell this looking at Daniel, but he's not actually very good at regulating his emotions. Daniel, he looks like the type of guy who wasn't fazed when his sister got cancer, but he cried when Avicii died.
her hair came back. Kyle looks like he could have been in the band My Chemical Romance if that chemical was chloroform. Kyle Samuel isn't his real name. He has a stage name because he's a teacher and he doesn't want to know when it's him. Adding him on Snapchat.
Daniel's face is so chiseled with odd proportions. That every time I see his face, I get flashbacks to Easter Island. With Daniel's poor, posh accent, you can tell that he absolutely hates poor people. You know, like he hates poor people so much that the part of the video he considers to be porn is when the single mum can't afford to pay the plumber.
Kyle has lots of tattoos. You'll notice he's left them mostly black and white so his girlfriend can practice colouring in.
Daniel looks like the type of guy who moans when he has a shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, Daniel looks like the type of guy who cried when they closed Top Man. On you go, Daniel?
Kyle's mama is so fat that she's really jealous of how thin his hair's getting.
Daniel works in medicine, you know. At work, he wanted to enact his favourite fantasy, where the medical professional gets to have sex with a patient, you know. And now he's no longer allowed to work at that vet's. You know, Daniel treats sex the same way he treats surgery. You know, he's in, he's out, and he prays they don't wake up during it. And even if they do, they're not going to feel a thing. Thank you.
So that was the number 5 battle this week. Kyle Samuel versus Daniel Petrie. Amazing timing. We did not plan that out ahead of time.
You set me up for that.
I did. Well, I didn't know you were going to go with what have you done for me lately, Kyle Samuel, as your entire...
I take it all back. It's a three-headed monster now between Kyle Samuel, Megan Robb, and Shelly Gruenberg. Why would you do that to me when I'm dressed like Cotton Candy Man?
Cotton Candy Man is great. Yeah, that's really good. God damn it. Isn't it funny how your brain just starts working in like roast battle pun mode?
Yeah. I was thinking
turn it
puns.
off.
Oh my God, I have this pun of a joke. I was thinking of the shower. I was like, I gotta stop watching Nate Welch battles.
Yeah.
I was always told puns they're a no-no.
Yeah.
From like every old comic, it's just like, no, stay away from puns. I get it, it's fun, but stay away from that. It's not real writing. And you're like, no, okay. All of a sudden, this new generation of just like digital people are like, no, this is funny to us.
The game has changed.
I love Shel Silverstein. Let's go.
Well, if you want to stay away from Nate Welch battles, I got some bad news for you. This is what we call foreshadowing. More on that later. Number 5, Kyle Samuel. He takes the loss in this battle, but ends a really good rookie campaign. I believe he went 4-3, put up 25, 26 points. Really good stuff out of him. He will definitely be part of that conversation. And then Daniel Petrie is a guy who doesn't battle quite as much as the guys in Scotland, but he's a guy to watch out for next season. He went 3-0 this year. 2 of his battles were ranked. He had a number 1 battle earlier in the season, and he pulls up a number 5 battle and a win, undefeated. 2 out of 3 battles make the countdown. He's a guy, if he decided to, really go for it next year, I think he could be on that upper echelon with Cullen, Trainer, and Kyle Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, like if they have a team that you like so much, I mean, that could be that guy's like he's in your rotation. So I kind of I dig Dan. Hey, he's been on the countdown a lot.
Yeah. Him and Kate Hammer rounding out that 5 in Scotland is that'd be a heck of a squad. Let's get to the battles we watch here in the studio, and we're gonna of course go to the number 4 battle right now. And this comes to us from Tokyo. Tokyo making their push to try to clinch this thing. They pick up 4 points this week with their reigning and defending champion, Jay Yamaki, going up against undefeated coming into this battle, Ruben VM, an unsung hero for the Tokyo scene. Not only does he battle, he does sound, he does the recording, he works behind the scenes, he plays guitar, he does the halftime show. Ruben does a little bit of everything, and in this case, that includes taking on the Tokyo champion. So here it is, number 4, Jay Yamaki, Ruben VM. Let's go.
So the first thing everyone always says about Jay Yamaki is that he looks like Kenny G. I think I speak for all of us when I wish he would resemble more Kenny from South Park. Dead.
Brave mentioning wishing I looked dead. So I think Ruben and I kind of look like vampires from different centuries. Except whereas I'm repelled by garlic, Ruben is repelled by Jewish culture.
For those who know JJ, it makes sense. So JJ met his wife on Japan Cupid, which is like OK Cupid for weebs. I don't know. So it means that he got his wife on the internet, he got his clothing at the morgue, and his nose at Don Quixote. Look, it's a bit early for Halloween, mate. A bit early.
Yeah, I know. My nose is able to chop through wooden things, like your act.
Hey,
this guy likes it. So Ruben is writing a book, and and they say the hardest thing about writing a book is finishing it. That's more of a problem for the readers. The hardest thing for Ruben will be physically lifting the book.
It's more like I'm ghostwriting it. I don't know. Anything I write is a ghostwriting book. Yeah.
You put the ghost in ghostwriter.
Dude, Jay is so British, but he's also weirdly Japanese. Yeah, he's like if... Yeah, get him! He's like if Yoko Ono fucked the Beatles.
At least one of them.
That's good. So Ruben's from New Zealand, whose national rugby team is the All Blacks. Coincidentally, All Blacks is Ruben's response to the question, who's been ruining Disney movies recently?
Moana was our culture. So it's really tough battling Jay Yamaki because he's been battling the best roast battlers for the last 2 years. Every single angle on him has been done before. So I was thinking, what can I do that's unique? So I thought I would do a fat joke about Jay. There we go. So Jay, you look pretty normal until you get to your childbearing hips. He's basically like a white woman with a fat ass. So you better watch out because Evans is going to come after you after the show.
It's taking a stray.
Yeah, I would welcome it. So Ruben enjoys knitting. Knitting. What the fuck are you talking about?
Bitch and Stitch.
Ruben enjoys knitting because he was fed up of having to buy socks to masturbate into. But, I mean, guys, don't judge him. He grew up in the farmlands of New Zealand. So putting his penis into wool just reminds him of home.
Jay has a rare form of OCD. Clearly, it's not the form that makes you concerned about personal hygiene. Honestly, Jay looks like something my wife picks out of the shower drain. They're not my pubes.
And you look like someone I would clean my ears with. But so Ruben here, I mean, he may be a Jew-hating sheep fucker. But even worse than that, he's a musical comedian. Oh, boo, exactly, boo. Still, he's generally one of my favorite people, so this is dedicated to him.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I'd just like to point out that, musically we're very different. Ruben plays the guitar, and also he likes his rhymes like he likes his sex, forced.
There it is. Let's get one in.
Ruben ate some celery, celery, celery. Ruben ate some celery. He was full for days. Okay, last verse. Ruben is like celery, long, thin, lacking vitamin D. Ruben is like celery, cannot play guitar. Does anyone know what tune that was? Mary Had a Little Lamb, which is also Ruben's favorite porn film. Thank you!
Jay Yamaki, Ruben VM. Jay had a different opponent who had to back out a week before the thing, but he's making an MVP push. So he said, give me someone else. Give me anyone else. Threw the battle together on short notice. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I mean, Ruben VM, I only see him do the guitar thing, right? So I'm always like a fan of that. And man, that was a lot of fun. Jay Yamaki can make anything fun, I feel like. I feel like if he's up there, everybody's having a good time. It just feels like you're in your couch just kind of watching two guys just like, drinking and having a conversation, kind of ripping on each other. Yeah. That's what it felt like. Learning that Ruben's a Kiwi is fun. Because I think we've talked about this in this acting class I had. They tell you how to speak like a person from New Zealand.
No, I don't think so.
Laserdisc.
Okay.
Laserdisc.
Can you say anything else?
That's it. That's all. I've tried to do. Yeah, it doesn't sound as good.
Sounds like a hell of a class.
Laserdisc.
Lesson number 1. Here's how to say one word.
Yeah, but that's the inflection you're going for when you're trying to be like a Kiwi.
Versus Australian.
Yeah. I don't know what
Australian
Australian is. I just remember that one of like the difference between Australian and New Zealand is say Laserdisc, and you say it like that. Laserdisc. The end.
I can't believe you haven't told me that story before. It's so good.
I thought I had.
No, maybe I blocked it out of my memory. My chair broke. That's how. Oh God.
But man, that was fun. That was like between like two rats who became like live action people. One's like a white rat and one's Jay Yamaki.
Yeah. I love, as a fat guy, I love to see two skinny guys just call each other skinny the entire time.
Celery, chow. Oh, so fun.
Yeah. Good stuff. Tokyo picks up 4 points. They move a little bit further ahead of Manchester. Of course, Manchester could still make a comeback even in this episode. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But it's been a really good season for Tokyo, no matter what happens at this point. And it's been a really good season for Jay Yamaki, who I think has established himself as top 5 internationally.
So fun.
Yeah.
So fun. Jay Yamaki, I know you watched this. You're great, brother. Yeah, talk about my outfit. I know I talk trash about yours, but you look great this week. You do look like a vampire from the 17th century. Shout out Ruben for that one. That was great.
That was Jay's.
Oh, Jay, this is how good you are.
You're so good. We're giving you credit for other people, or giving other people credit for your jokes.
Laserdisc.
Hey, thank you.
Great.
I know, right? You said you don't know what Australians sound like. Well, let's change that with the number 3 battle this week. My transitions are on fire. Yeah, dude, we don't even think about it anymore. We're just reading each other's minds telepathically. The number 3 battle this week comes to us from Los Angeles, and it features an Aussie. Now, this is from a collab that we did with some friends of ours from Australia, the Yeah Mad TV folks. Do you want to tell people a little bit about what they do and what we did together?
Yeah, Mad does roast battles. It's almost like a Big Brother concept where they have like seasons and like they'll staff a whole team of just people who they're doing dad jokes. They're doing just like card games or like drinking games, and then they do like dad jokes, roast battle jokes. But they're a huge production company over in Australia, like 2 million subscribers on YouTube. They reached out to us, reached out to them obviously because we love the Sydney and Melbourne area. And they came over and collabed with us on, we went to them, did a roast battle in studio, and then they came to us and we showed them how you really do a fucking roast battle.
Yeah, they do a lot of in-studio content, right? But they also have a couple of Roast Battle Australia veterans, people that we saw last season.
Kirsty
Carr, and the guy we're about to see in this battle. And they came over here. We went to them. We did a USA versus Australia roast battle that'll be released on their channel in the studio. That was so much fun. I can't wait for everybody to see it. And then they had a few of their guys go up at the Comedy Store and battle on stage against a couple of our best. That'll be released on our channel down the line. We're going to show you one of the battles here. This was great. This was the final LA MVP push for the LA champion, Nate Welch, going up against one of the best in Australia, Seth Natterson. It's the number 3 battle this week. Here it is.
Get it! Let's roll!
Yeah, well, okay. I just want to say before we start, it really is an honor to be battling Eric Cartman all grown up. It really is. Nate, you might be a healthy weight in America, but in Australia, you're what we call a fat cunt. Which is crazy, because the only thing Nate doesn't eat is pussy, so...
I do. You said I look like Cartman, you like you from South Parks and Rec.
I do parks and recreational drugs, so...
Hey, y'all make some noise for my opponent, Crocodile Gandhi. Sad don't smoke cigarettes, but he always develops a camel crush on every white chick that gives him attention.
Give it up for Stone Cold Steve Alswitch. Some of you guys might recognize Nate, not from on stage, but he does look like the piece of gum under your seats. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. He's flavorless, he's white, he's dry, and when you're done with him, you want to put him under a table.
You look like you're about to run into a room and yell, Koala Akbar! Koala Akbar!
Be careful, motherfucker.
You also look like you kangaroo-fie bitches.
Yep.
Rory texting you jokes?
He just texted me to take my shirt off and be an idiot, so... What? Oh, God. We don't own him. Nate looks white and sounds black, but he's accepted by neither. Nate's such white trash, they call him Popeye the Trailer Man. Except the only thing he doesn't eat is spinach, so...
Again, true. You look like you work at Outback Vape House.
What is that?
It's a vape house.
I thought you said rape house.
No, I said vape.
I work at Outback Rape House.
That works too. Sorry. Sad looked like Aladdin if instead of asking the genie for 3 wishes, he asked him for the 3 numbers on the back of his credit card.
Don't cash those gift cards. Don't cash. Nate looked like Fred Durst if he ate all the biscuits.
Keep them rolling for me, player.
Nate told me his favorite movies were Waterboy, Superbad, and Forrest Gump. I guess this guy really relates to retards.
That's why I really like Rory. That was a good one, you British Mexican. Seth told me he's a Buddhist who's trying to achieve nirvana. I guess that's why his fingers always smell like Teen Spirit. In his country, they call him Krishna Dalia.
Inside joke.
Nate told me he loves UFC. Unlimited fried chicken. He's a heavyweight champ.
Got the belt.
Nate was in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. Was that right? Yep. Yeah. The storm took away his house, his family, and his hairline.
All very true. That was real Aboriginal, dude.
You gotta say that.
Wait. I don't know if that was bad. Sad told me he loves playing basketball. What position you play? Call center?
Nate, I got one more. Nate looks like Vin Diesel without the family. He looks like he's been eating away his grief ever since Paul Walker died. He's furious, but he's never fasted. Guys,
main event. That was badass. Keep it going.
All right, number 3, Nate Welch, Seth Nadesan. Good stuff. I mean, first of all, from the Australian crew, they flew to America, filmed nonstop content for like 2 weeks, wrote a million jokes for a million things, and in every spare second they had, they were getting actively drunk. That was the last night of their thing. It got wild on the Comedy Store patio at like 2 a.m. The bouncers were like, "Fuck, we gotta work tonight." Aussies can drink, man. They could party. They can have fun.
Dude, that was sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking back at that, I'm like, that was one of the best nights. That's the best night we've had since pre-pandemic. I mean, man.
Yeah, it was weird because there was like an injection of energy that the Aussies brought. And I want to talk about this as part of Nate's, story too. But it was on a Wednesday night, which we never ever do. We've been on Tuesday, every Tuesday for over a decade. The Comedy Store had to be rented out. It was unavailable on Tuesday. We said, fuck, we already got these Australian guys. They gave us a Wednesday. And we were worried about are people going to know it's on Wednesday? A lot of their fans brought tickets. That was a heavily Aussie crowd. It was almost like a road game for Nate because, there's been a lot of talk about, he's like unbeatable in the belly room. It's his crowd. That was not his crowd that night. And he still shined, which I give him a lot of credit for. But also the energy in that room with the Australians it was like kind of like a raucous like soccer crowd. They were like yelling
it's like Mad
shit.
Max.
And,
it's like Thunderdome shit.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, dude.
It was. We haven't had that energy in a long, long time. Like that really did feel old school. And Nate is unbeatable because I keep hearing this now. I didn't know that before, but in the room, in the belly room specifically, Nate just has this audience behind him that's just like going for Nate. Where it's if you're in the room, you're like, oh, this guy's killing.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really matter what he's saying. You know what I mean? We have to vote for him. So he's the people's champ in the belly room, but this was overwhelmingly Seth Nadesan's crowd.
Yeah.
But man, did they love Nate. To a point where they were like, no, we need to just replace Seth with Nate. It was crazy. They were like, they adopted Nate as that's their that's their Tasmanian devil now.
Yeah. Yeah, because not only was it like fans of what they do and everything, because we, they advertised to their people and certainly people brought tickets, but they rolled deep as a crew. They came out here, I don't know, 30, 40 people when you count crew and everything. So there were a lot of like, mad like performers, behind the scenes kind of people making up the crowd. And Nate did a great job. I thought Seth had some fun shit too, especially that was the best Vin Diesel thing I've ever heard used in roast battle. Just the simple, you look like Vin Diesel without the family. To me, that's better than any sort of like flip I've heard on it before.
I mean, just the fact that translates internationally. That's what I love about this sport, to kind of see like what it looks like, Because I know when you make a Disney movie, they put it in France because that's as universal as it's going to be, right? Like, all right, if we put it here with this tough language, we'll see how it translates to, these people, kind of a thing, right? And then we'll go from there. And I feel like with roast battle, it really is like references are king. Yeah. When it comes to roasting. So I think that with things like that, when I see a guy like Seth come in and dominate, even though I know that was his crowd, there were battlers that, that really take the joke writing seriously. And I saw guys like Keith and you really like were impressed by Seth. So just seeing that and then seeing Nate just in his bag and just win that crowd over, because they were like, man, Nate's the funniest thing we've ever seen in our lives.
And I said this in my judging, but giving him two different mediums to work with as a pun guy. It's like, this guy, you could do all the Middle Eastern stuff. You could do all the Buddhist stuff. You could do Indian stuff. You can get away with all of it. He's Sri Lankan. Nobody even knows what that is. You can get away with
now,
literally
koala.
Any sort of brown thing combined with the rich tapestry that is hilarious Australian references. And Nate was like, watch me work. And he came up with Koala Akbar and
Crocodile
Gandhi and you kangaroofy bitches. Like, yeah, for Nate, that was like painting with all colors of the rainbow.
I mean, off the top, I remember you said it in the judging, talking about how he flipped the Cartman thing from,
like, Parks and Rec.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
So Parks and Rec, yeah.
Nate wraps up his season 6-3, 30 RBL points. Hell of a year. He's going to, I think, be the favorite in the MVP voting. But there's another guy. We've talked all season about John Luna. Nate and Luna went head-to-head. Nate won, which, I think in a lot of people's minds will take Luna out of it. But there is this dark horse that showed up halfway through the season. You've seen him a lot on the podcast, Tom Goss. And Tom Goss, as we sit here today, 5-2 with 26 points. Comparable kind of resume to Nate. And he has one more battle coming up in a week, going up against the legend Robin Schran, making her RBL debut, but certainly been in roast battle for a long, long time. Some people are making a strong push for Tom Goss, and that includes his podcast buddies, Keith Carey, Connor McSpadden, two roast battle Hall of Flamers. Man. Keith, Connor, and Tom host the Mean Boys podcast. And they're putting their foot on the gas. They're making a case for their boy, and they produced this little commercial. We put it on our Instagram, and we figured, let's just show it to you. Let's watch it here on the show, and then break it down. Without further ado, it's the case for Tom Goss as the LA MVP.
For years, Thomas Elizabeth Goss has been one of America's most profound and brilliant comedic minds.
Boom! My penis!
But now, Tom has taken the world of roast battle by storm. Over the course of the 2024 roast battle season, Tom has stood up to society's greatest bullies. Women.
Kelsey's face is a lot like texting something funny to a Mexican. Jaw.
Disabled veterans.
Logan has a kid and he teaches them their head, shoulders, never mind.
Minorities.
Julian's queer the same way I'm Armenian. I'm not, but it's fun to tell people that sometimes.
And larger women.
Doesn't Paige look like she hocked Tua's corn dogs?
He's a true American hero who has overcome the odds, thriving as an insult comedian despite being born fat, gay, and stupid. The Mean Boys podcast is proud to endorse Tom Goss as this season's Roast Battle Los Angeles MVP. Go to Roast Battle's Instagram and YouTube pages and make your voices heard. Show Commissioner Pat Barker and his only black friend Brian Moses that Tom is the people's champion. And that is why.
Number one, I think all MVP candidates should have to make, political style ads explaining why they deserve it. That was great.
I agree.
That was great.
I agree. Man, Keith Carey as a voiceover is the king. That was awesome.
It's the best. It's so good. I'm not going to tip my hand on the MVP vote, mainly because Tom's season isn't done. He's got one more. But I just want to say the fact that he has made it a race at all is incredible. One of the greatest 4-month stretches of roast battle I've ever seen, long before we had a league. I can't remember many people over the course of 4 months squeezing in 8 battles and making them all like great. So congratulations to Tom, no matter what happens. And to clarify one thing, because I got people in my DMs now, like, you got to do Nate versus Tom. You got to do winner.
Thought you were going to say you have more than one black friend.
Winner. No, that part, they nailed that. The people in my DMs are saying you got to do Nate versus Tom, winner take all. I would love to end the season the way New York is, with John Ajota versus Andrew Manning. It's not officially for MVP, but it is the last chance to make a case for both competitors. It's going to hold a lot of weight. I would love to do that with Nate versus Tom. Problem is, Tom got started a little bit too late. The season is over, essentially. Even if I wanted to do it on the last day of the LA season, Tom's already battling Robin Tran. There's no time to make it happen. If Tom had started even maybe a month earlier, then this would have been a perfect way to close out the season. Nate, to his credit, has taken everything put in front of him. Tom came to me and he said, I want to battle every 3 weeks. He found his opponent. He made the battles. He crushed it. Nate, as the champ, it's a little bit different. He's got to sit back and wait for me to tell him who he's facing. He has taken on every challenge put in front of him. 2 very great seasons, very different ways that they got there, but both deserving.
I mean, I would love to see a head-to-head also. You're right, though. Tom did start this campaign a little bit late, and the fact that he's got an ad campaign behind it. Yeah, he needs the push, right?
Yeah.
Nate can actually sit back and be like, I'm the champ. I don't actually need to do this. You have to do this. So, it's up to you to make that happen.
Well, I'll say what, outside of MVP, Nate versus Tom will be happening with the title on the line. That's a no-brainer at this point. I feel like Tom has, at the very least, earned the opportunity to go head-to-head with Nate and win the title. I wish it could fall within this current season. Yeah, I'm not going to have the opportunity to do that. So I appreciate the passion, everybody, but let's calm down. All right. But that was the number 3 battle this week. Nate Welch picking up 5 points. The MVP race is going to be fun to see. And speaking of MVP races, we just alluded to the New York one. This guy that we're about to see is going to be part of that conversation. He was last season's New York MVP. He went to the championships, and he is featured in the Wildcard battle this week, which is going to get New York 3 points and push them over the edge. This is officially the battle that clinches the American East Division for New York. Last year, it was John Ajota on the last day of the season, clinching the playoffs for New York. He does it again this season on week 33. This one is wild. Get ready for this one. This comes from our most recent Mothership show. It's a wild card battle. New York versus the Bay Area in Austin, Texas. It's John Ajota versus Jack Weiler. Here it is.
1 round, 5 jokes. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
You got this?
Yes.
Folks, John Ajota, the Jack Weiler. Let's go!
Wow. Likability established. Okay. First of all, take your hat off. Have some respect. But,
You're not a troop, you just kill them.
Okay, anyway, how embarrassing. Jack looks like that teen pop star that Diddy passed on. He's like, I'm good. Imagine being so boring looking you can't even get molested.
That's funny, because doesn't John look like he supplies Diddy his baby oil? Like he owns the mini mart that sells Diddy the baby oil? John really looks like he has sexual assault allegations in the metaverse.
Let's go, Jack.
I think John's real definition of fun is squeezing frogs till his eyes pop out, you know?
Yeah, so what? Jack, I do not know you, but I hate you. Moreover, I hate what you represent for this art form. You twitchy, over-medicated fraternity pledge that dies in a hazing accident, uniting the local communities in mourning. On the bright side, you do inspire me to work harder, so I'm never reduced to sharing a stage with such an inconsequential nothing ever again. It baffles my faith in Christ that this is happening, that you have the audacity to expect these hardworking people to pay money to watch you. And quite frankly, it makes me question Pat's ability to book a show cohesively. Anyway, for my joke. Jack is from Boston, but the only cream pie is the one he gets from his uncle.
Thank you so much, Bollywood Ben Shapiro. Growing up, John wanted to be a magician. Yeah, it was always his dream to saw a woman in half.
Well, what was she wearing? In Idaho, it's illegal to give a woman you're courting a bag of candy over 50 pounds. Or as they call it in Idaho, fun-sized. Yeah, if you think that joke sucked, it's because Jack wrote it. Maybe, hold on, maybe it's all in the delivery. All right, go ahead, Jack, show us how it's done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a good one, Jaundice Ajota. John's an only child, but only because he ate his twin in the womb. All right, that's fine.
Yeah. You want to try again? First of all, I have an older sister. She's really hot. So I post about it all the time. Anyway. Hold on, let me just refresh. So I know, listen, big star over here. You may recognize Jack from, I gotta refer to my notes here. You may recognize Jack from his hit YouTube videos, Jack Weiler stand-up comedy, 71 views. Or who could forget that classic Jack Weiler Flappers Comedy Club .mov? 92 views. But hey, Jack, give your fans what they're really asking for, you know, your magnum opus, open mic comedian blows brains out live on stage.
This is crazy coming from someone who just opened by saying they suck at stand-up, right? Like,
that is what I did and was the joke. Really got your fucking finger on the pulse, dumbass. All right.
Oh, fuck.
Is it my turn?
No, I think it's mine now.
Okay.
It takes John a really long time to text women. In fairness, he's got to cut up the pieces from the magazine first, so. John looks like he has a list of his top 5 favorite serial killers, ordered by the grammatical correctness of their ransom notes.
It's a good joke.
This is more embarrassing for me. Don't worry. Yeah, I could have been somebody. Listen, Jack is such a boring white guy. I really struggled with what to write, and my fellow artists, I don't know about you, but when I don't know what to write, I like to write a haiku. Leaves gently falling. The autumn wind has returned. Jack, you're a fag.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I think it's one more. Here.
Who wants one more?
That was pretty funny. John studied economics in college. His favorite kind is trickle down. That's when the sweat trickles down the woman's face in fear. Fuck it, whatever. That's fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bay Area's Jack Weiler. New York City's No, please.
I still don't. I mean, this happened 3 weeks ago, and it has not left my brain since, and I still don't know what to say about it. It's just, It's a flawless performance. I've never seen somebody's performance actively change the way the audience feels about their opponent as the battle progresses. And perhaps, and I don't want to, cast any of my thoughts into Jack's head, but maybe the way Jack feels about himself during the break. It felt like you could see his soul leave his body about halfway through.
Astrally leave. It was Pat, we've never seen that.
No.
That was a flawless performance. It was written as such. You could tell he was reading it. I don't even know how to articulate this. I've seen it live. I've been thinking about it ever since.
Yeah,
that was my first time watching it back. And then I felt like the audience. I was for Jack. I was like, oh, Jack did pretty well. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
And then it was, as soon as he did Jack's joke.
Yes.
Or said that was Jack's joke. And that was the magic trick.
Yep.
And Jack had said this guy wanted to be a magician. That was fucking brilliance. That was magic. I don't think I've ever just, I don't even want to be here. Like, all right, I guess here. TikTok, da-da-da-da-da-da. And just, it was all the things you love about a roast battle, but all the things you hate about a roast battle, right? You're not supposed to be mean. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. And not only does he do it, he does it like it's A+ level.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what if he comes at me next? It's like, what if he points the gun at me now?
And when he was like, Pat can't book a show, I was like, oh, fuck. Leave me out it.
They didn't even see this, but the intro, he literally said, I'm only here, Moses, because I can't do stand-up.
Yeah,
and that's
when they
a literal
reference that.
shot at what we do, because that's kind of the rumor is like, oh, if you can't do stand-up, you can go do roast battle.
Right.
So that was, the guy, he came with a smoking gun, and he didn't stop shooting.
Yeah.
And it was good.
He found a way to do something that I've never seen before. People ask me all the time, has anybody ever told a roast battle joke that hurt your feelings, right? And none of the ones about any of the tragedies in my life hurt my feelings, my personal opinion. I don't care about any of that. None of it. The only one that ever hurt my feelings was one that didn't really work with the crowd. And I think I've told the story on the podcast before. But when I first moved to LA, I felt like I wasn't getting up as much as I should. I wasn't, grinding, as the kids say. I was trying to figure out life in general and all this kind of shit, being married, all that. And I battled Toby Mirashanu, one of the all-time greats. And he had a joke about Pat did comedy for 9 years in Philly, then moved to LA and never performs. He's the only person Hollywood broke on the flight over. And it crushed me because it spoke so much to my greatest insecurity at that time, but it didn't really work with the crowd, right? Toby, all his jokes in that battle were great. That was one of the only ones that didn't really hit because he didn't find a way to make it translatable for the crowd. To them, they're like, what does that mean? John found a way, and I'm not even sure this is an insecurity of Jack's. He dug through the archives to take things that Jack has done that every comedian has done. Every comedian posted a video on YouTube that got 70 views and then they forgot about it. Everybody uploaded a set and nobody watched it, and it's normal. It's completely normal in our world to do that. The joke that he quoted, the fun-size candy joke, I asked Jack afterwards, I'm like, is that really like in your act? And he goes, no, he had to think about it. During the pandemic, when people were like, I'm just going to record content, a lot of people just started recording like topical jokes. Keith Carey did an excellent series and got a ton of work out of it. But Jack tried a thing where he was just doing like topical jokes. He took an hour to write some shit down. He threw that joke out there thinking, oh yeah, what's the worst that could happen with this? How about a psychopath 4 years later digging it out of the mothballs and making it into the greatest roast battle joke of all time? How about that? How about you do something so benign as just like, oh, I just wrote a topical joke and, whatever, you throw it out there. For John to do that level of research and take these things that are totally normal and every comedian has done them and make it look like this guy's the biggest fucking failure on earth. And like you said, it's a magic trick. He tricked the whole crowd into believing that Jack has no business doing comedy. It's insane.
He filleted that man. Like, I've never seen somebody use words and just like peel somebody's skin off.
Yeah.
And like, kudos to my man, Jack Weiler. Very funny cat.
Sure.
And like,
there's a reason we invited him.
Yeah,
you don't get you don't get on that stage if I don't think you're really good at this.
Nah, Jack's a monster at this. And in the beginning, he was formidable and you saw it. But it was even like, he had a good joke afterwards. And that's what you were talking about just now, was saying like the audience just didn't trust him.
Yeah.
They did not trust him after that. It didn't matter what Jack could have had God level jokes. and it just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Because Jota has now brainwashed these people to think like, I shouldn't even be here against this guy. I'm so much better than this.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, he became somebody else.
And this is what I'll say. He is now on the doorstep. If he beats Andrew Manning, ends Andrew Manning's undefeated season, retains his championship because he's been the New York champion for a minute. If he wins the MVP for a second straight year and goes to the finals for a second straight year, I've talked on this podcast before, and I know John has heard it because he told me he has. I said I wish that when he got to the World Championship or the Netflix Festival, he did some real outside the box shit because that's his special move. And to me, it felt like watching Jordan get to the finals and be like, I'm not going to dunk. Dunking's nah. So he told me, he's like, I'm going to try some shit tonight.
Free
and then
throws, my eyes closed. Yeah.
he went out and did it to the best of its capabilities. That John Jota, I'm never going to say anybody's impossible to beat, but that's really, really, really tough to beat. That level, I don't know what you do.
Yeah, because there's a force field around that guy of like, again, it didn't matter what Jack said. Like, Jack could have used old jokes. I mean, like, he could use carrot bottom. People would still have been like, I don't know, man. It feels kind of weak. You know what I mean? Like, because it always works. But it wouldn't have worked then because now Jota's got this, he's Thanos. He's just like, he makes you disappear. He's scary.
Yeah, dude.
He was scary against Malia. He was scary at the beginning of that Netflix festival. But that John Jota who's like mad at us, and he's like, oh, just so you know, I've got an AK here and here just for everybody. Just so you guys know I have guns everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to leave you alone.
Yeah.
Like, you tiptoe around that kind of guy. Like, that's the kind of guy you tiptoe around.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. You guys saw it. Make of it what you will. It was one of the most unbelievable performances I've seen in a roast battle.
MOV, 70 views.
And you know the funny thing, I didn't pick this up until I watched the video back. But when he did the open mic comedian blows brains out, he was getting ready to say dot. And I think he was going to say like MP4 or something like that. But Jack cut him off. But that was the other thing that Jota, everything he did, like the fact checking. Like, I actually have a sister. She's super hot. I post about it all the time. Like the fact checking was great. He did everything again that isn't supposed to work, and it did work. One of the pieces of feedback I got from a member of the ranking committee, and by the way, this one fluctuated. This was number one on a few. It was a little bit lower on a few because one person said, I hate watching this battle, but I have to rank it high. But I hate it. Like, I'm physically, like, I don't like it.
As a comic, like, if you've ever written a joke and went on stage, like, that's the nightmare. Like, it's not so much like going in front of a citizen, will say, like, who doesn't do stand-up regularly. Like, you can go up and like, oh man, my whole thing is like, I want to bomb. Like, that's scary. You know, public speaking is scary. When you get past that as a comic, right, and you're to the point of like, I do this all the time, right, and now you just live out, your shield is your jokes and your material, right, or whatever your style is. If there's a person that's literally dissecting what you do and telling you in front of a bunch of people who paid money to come see you tell some jokes, and now he's saying you should never see this guy. Oh, by the way, this is on camera and now it's on a podcast.
Yeah.
Ranked as number 2 of breaking you down as a human, as an artist. I just, that's scarier than going on stage naked in front of people and you have like your penis is inverted, right? Like there's nothing like what he just did. Like that's the nightmare. You just got to witness it. For every artist that tells jokes on stage, that's the nightmare.
Yeah, the character assassination. It's crazy. Nicely done. Way to end that man's life, John Jota. Him and Andrew Manning is going to be incredible. I don't want to say it's for the MVP, but I think in a lot of people's minds, it is. And I can't wait to see it.
That's pay-per-view television right there. That's going to be awesome.
It's going to take a lot to find a battle better than that, and we're going to go with one from the exact same night. This is the number 1 battle. We did 2 shows that night at the Mothership in Austin. I don't remember, frankly, if these were on the same show. If they were, my God, what a show! But this is a great battle between someone we've seen on the podcast a lot and someone that hasn't been on the podcast a lot, but we know very well. This is Austin, Texas, with the number 1 battle this week. Ryer Kammerman, who's made a bunch of appearances here. We know Ryer. We love Ryer. Going up against Dan Nolan. Dan Nolan. We'll talk about him in a minute. Let's just jump into the battle. Number 1 this week, Dan Nolan, Ryer Kammerman. Here it is.
We break this bitch. Battle! Battle! Let's roll!
Wier actually came out as trans after we had already scheduled this roast battle.
That's right.
It was a little annoying. I had to change a bunch of my jokes and make them about his smelly, unwashed pussy.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Don't pretend like you don't have a pussy too, you fucking bitch. Yeah. Dan, first I want to say thank you for taking a break from telling your stepson you're going to build a treehouse and then never doing it. Dan used to be a heroin addict, and now he's a heroin basement. Yeah. It's different, huh? We don't like different.
Wier was raised in the Catholic Church and then ended up becoming an altered boy.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. I remember you a lot from those days. Yeah. It's crazy. Dan told me that he enjoys watching trans porn. Huh. It's crazy because I enjoy watching fat, retarded piece of shit porn. It's wild. What are the odds? Everybody wins.
Really good.
God.
Thank you so much, Wier. I love the outfit, by the way. Did you pick that up over at Cross Dress for Less?
Yeah. I love the outfit. Did you pick that up at iwannabeaman.com? That was not written down. Dan, you look like a substitute teacher that goes to put on a movie and it's just child porn. Learn something. God, once they understand, I'm just gonna shoot to the fucking stars. That'd be funny. Okay, get your ass on board.
I actually think that Wier is extremely brave for coming out in public with that stupid fucking haircut.
Oh, show your fucking hairline, dude. Jesus. It's like a peninsula. There's like, Jesus Christ.
You look like you're transitioning into a hate group, fucking crew cut trans.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know about hate groups, you fucking... Hey. Guys, Dan is trying to get his girlfriend pregnant. Hey, Dan, does she know?
No, actually, I met Wier a couple of years ago. I thought Wier was super cute when we first met. But Wier is a man, so it turns out my dad was right. I am a fucking faggot.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, you are.
I'm a fucking faggot.
It's crazy that now I'm less gay than you are. Isn't it funny? I just become straight again with you. This is the interesting thing about Dan. When he was a kid, he used to write the N-word on his calculator. How did you even do that? It's just a phone. God, so much to offer.
Wier was born and raised in Katy, Texas, but has been slowly making the transition to Kyle.
Oh yeah.
We got some Texas locals in the house. I was worried about that
one. Good. Okay. Dan wears pants in the pool. You fat retard.
Is that it?
That's it.
Keep it going, Dan Nolan. Just a couple dudes being bros.
Yeah, right? Oh my God. So fun. Number one battle this week. Way different than the number two battle. Just two people having a lot of fun up there, man.
Yeah, there's no hatred.
None.
They like each other.
We just wrote some fun jokes to tell about our buddies.
They feel like roommates.
Yeah. It's great stuff. My cheeks like hurt from laughing so hard. It was a really good battle. To start with Wier. Wier's been on the podcast a bunch. Wier is just one of the most like effortlessly funny people I know. And the one thing about Wier that I he kept doing during the battle where he was like, oh yeah, I'm a little bit different. We don't like different. And it's like, once you people understand, I'll shoot to the start. Like this internal monologue, like, oh no, I'm bombing stuff when he was killing, like it was great. I've never seen Wier do poorly, but then you talk to Wier and Wier's like, oh yeah, people out here just don't get me. I'm like, every time I've seen you have murdered.
You get booked everywhere.
Murdered.
They love you.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So funny.
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. That was Nolan. I mean, his inner monologue with the jokes. I mean, talking about my dad was right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to say about that battle except it was so much fun. You could tell they were having fun. The jokes were so great.
Yeah.
The off the cuff jokes were so great. I mean, they played themselves very well. Wier, like you're saying, he does this thing now where he's got this inner monologue. Dan is doing this just self-deprecating thing the whole time. So it really, really melds well. And I just love seeing two white guys just have a good time.
Right? Yeah, it's perfect. Unfortunately, Austin had like 4 good female battlers, and now they're down to 3.
Yes.
So that sucks.
Dip into the gender-free agency, guys.
No, it was incredible. Dan Nolan across 2 RBL seasons, 10-0, the best record in the entire league, and we've had almost maybe even more than 2,000 battlers across 2 seasons. Yeah. He's the only 10-0. So good. We've seen him for years in LA. I battled him 8 years ago, and he's still just as good. Still writes just as funny shit. Always great to see him. And Austin has had a really, really nice season. They really have, and I think that their improvement has not gone unknown. I've seen what they've done, and it's been really, really impressive. And they brought some new people up that they didn't have last year. So congratulations to Austin, and I hope to see a lot more of both Dan and Wier next year.
They've got some stars, Yeah. I feel like Austin is the star maker.
Yeah.
LA and New York, obviously, those are your flagships and your tent poles because they're really strong. You're gonna get your strongest battlers out of there. But man, Austin just from Lucas McCrary to Adult Kiddo, Heather Keith, and Patrick Apari, Grant Adcock, Ryder Cameraman, Dan Nolan. I mean, they're so much fun. Adam Lucky.
Let's put it this
Mike
way:
Eaton.
if you had a NCAA style 64 person tournament of the 64 best battlers, there's a handful of guys from Austin who could easily win that tournament. Their peak is very, very high, and yeah.
You probably get more at-large bids out of Austin and New York out of probably any other region. Probably more than Denver or Chicago. Probably more than LA or Bay Area.
I think I'll say this. If you have next season a couple people in Austin commit to the RBL season, I think they will make a ton of noise. Heather Keith dominated the first half, won the Netflix tournament, and then kind of disappeared. Dan Nolan did 4 battles this season. Ryder Cameraman did 4. You look at New York, their top guys are doing 7 or 8. If you have a couple guys be like, this is my year, I'm going to win this fucking thing, I think Austin is going to be a real problem next year.
Real problem.
For sure. Because their peak is as high as anybody else, their ceiling. Let's take a look at the standings for this year, though. LA, number 1 overall seed. They are 2 weeks away from clinching that and taking the top overall seed. They clinched the division last week. Austin does move up a little bit. They're hot on the Bay Area's heels for the number 2 spot. Bay Area picking up 3 points this week via Jack Weiler. Hit the that's a kamikaze mission. I'm gonna get you 3 points. I might die in the process.
Sacrifice fly. Yeah.
New York officially clinches the Eastern Division with a Joda's battle, finishing off Chicago. Atlanta picks up a couple points. Scotland mathematically wins the division, although that's been a surefire conclusion for a while. And then in the International East, Tokyo 8.5 up on Manchester with 2 weeks to go.
It's coming down to the last 2 weeks, man.
Come
on, Manchester.
Manchester needs some firepower. The last couple they've sent, it's like they're running on fumes at this point. So I'm hoping they have 2 haymakers left in the chamber. I'm hoping that we can make this thing. I would love for it to be like a 1-point game at the end of the day. But right now, Tokyo seems to have the momentum.
Okay. All right, Tokyo. You called it at the beginning of the year. Manchester looking like the Las Vegas Golden Knights out of the gate, inaugurally just coming out, in London. technically you're still there. You get 2 number 1 battles, and these guys sucked the last 2 weeks. You can come in, and take the crown, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Going to be tough for London. But we're 1 week closer to wrapping up this season and figuring out where the championship is and who the players are going to be in that. More information still to come. This was another great week of battles. Shout out to everybody who made the countdown. Shout out to the ranking committee and our Patreon members who have helped throughout the season rank. Do you have anything else?
Sign up for the Patreon, get some merch, get some tickets to Punch Up Live. Let's roast!